It is another bumpy day, J-Mac, for Caleb Williams. So we know in OTAs, Ben Johnson got, a little miffed, couldn't get the play into the huddle. They're asking him to do some different stuff, sometimes under center. A lot of those coaches like that. Oh, yeah. Sean Payton likes that. So are you ready for the new news, J-Mac?
Please. Lay it on me, big guy.
Okay, so yesterday, 3 days ago, he struggled. Ben Johnson was furious. Couldn't get the play in and out. Yesterday, struggled with a deep ball. Today, Caleb Williams, 2 red zone picks. 1 tip ball, another one horrible pass. So 3 days in a row, it's gotten a little bumpy for Caleb Williams. So people say, I hear athletes say this. I hear people say that you can't take a lot from camp. You can see red flags, positive, negative. Andrew Luck, Jaden Daniels, first week of camp, Commanders, Colts. You were hearing glowing reports. Disastrous first dates rarely become great 30-year marriages. I've interviewed lots of people in my life. Disastrous interviews never become great hire. It matters. Sean Payton last year was texting me in August. He's like, Bo Nix, it may take a few starts. Guy's going to be good. By October, Bo Nix, 103 passer rating. You can see good. It can be one of those musical shows. It can be an athlete. It can be an interview. It can be a first date. You can see stuff. What do they say? Men decide in 8 seconds. Women decide in 8 minutes if they want to spend any time with this person. So Caleb Williams was sold as a generational talent. We were all hoping it would be this generation, right? Like, how long do you want us to last and wait? So remember this. Ben Johnson's first year with Jared Goff. Let's go back to that. Remember that Lions team 2022 was not the roster it is now. The O-line wasn't quite set. Jared Goff, first year with Ben Johnson, now the Bears coach. Led the NFL, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, 7th in passer rating, 6th in passing yards. And again, that Lions team isn't the one now. That's 3 off seasons ago. The Lions team now, I don't think is as good offensively as the Bears team right now with their personnel. So and I feel this. Quarterbacks in 2025 are a little bit like streaming shows. Bro, if you're not getting me by the 2nd episode early, I'm out. Used to be 3 years. Give Eli Manning 3 years. Those days are over. Private coaching, 7-on-7 camps. You can transfer in high school and college to a better place. Those days are over. He's got to be good by late September and early October. And that streaming show, you know it and I know it. By the 2nd episode, if you're 8-10 minutes in and you're like, the writing's bad, it doesn't work, you're on to another streaming show or another service. And so I think you got to grab people early in this relationship. So Ben Johnson yesterday said it's not as bad as it was reported, but today, 7-on-7 drills, red zone, 2 picks, not good. Here's Ben Johnson.
I know some people enjoyed me throwing the first team out of practice. Not the case. We got to end up executing, getting in and out of the huddle a certain way, and it wasn't that way. And we're learning, we're growing. There were some things from the springtime expected to carry over that was probably one we just don't have any tolerance for anymore. We got too far to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is year 2, generational talent. Hopefully this one, OTAs, 3 days at camp, every day at something else. I like him a lot, but the critics make good points. Hero ball, runs backwards. A lot of this NFL quarterback stuff is work ethic and getting in and out of plays and not making big errors. I say this all the time about Mahomes. About 3 times a game, jaw dropping. 27 dropbacks, he's just hitting the drag routes. So Caleb right now struggling with the layup stuff, the easy stuff. Don't throw picks in the red zone. Dirt it. Throw it, you know what they say, red zone, you got to throw it low or out of the end zone. right? So today, 2 picks, not great. Andrew Berry is a very sharp general manager of the Cleveland Browns. I've said before, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have overcome a lot. I think they're both top 25% of the league at their respective jobs. Andrew's smart. And instead of pandering, which the media constantly does with young athletes, Andrew Berry said what Shedeur Sanders did, getting 2 speeding tickets as a 5th-round draft pick, as a quarterback, was dumb. Here he is.
Not smart. Just not smart. It's not just about, driving a car really fast, but it's about the fact that you can endanger other people. It's about the fact that if a deer or someone, cuts out in front of you, like your reaction time, it's just dangerous. And it's not something that we want our guys to be doing. It's not something that they should be doing. And the number one reason is because we don't want some type of catastrophic accident.
He's a 5th-round pick. They haven't invested anything in him. They could show him the door tomorrow. He's a quarterback. The standard's higher. I heard a lot of this. Colin, it's no big deal. I've had a speeding ticket. 34% of American men have been arrested. I'm going to hold my quarterback to a little higher standard than the general public. 74% of Americans are overweight. Should my pro athlete, Bob down the street is? Again, there are standards. I need smarter. I need more dedicated. I need more focus than young guys getting arrested and people overweight. That's the average citizen. Fine. This is not an average position. Quarterbacks don't get sick days. You wake up with a sinus infection, you're out. They do. Grab your helmet. Let's go. Let's go. Get in the huddle. Hurry up. 2 speeding tickets, 5th-round quarterback is dumb. Speeding ticket becomes not knowing the formation on Sunday. Like, it's just not that difficult. Quarterbacks are supposed to put out fires, not start them. So Andrew Berry is speaking the truth out loud. Whenever I hear this, well, I've done this or I've done that, that's not the standard I'm shooting for. Quarterback NFL franchise. There's 32 starting jobs in the country. Like that's it. Teams give you about a year and a half and then move off you. You have to make impressions. So I just appreciate a general manager going to a podium and not pandering. Just call it out. Not good enough. So I'm reading an article this morning, and the headline to the article, which I disagree with, is Aaron Rodgers has a lot more to lose with the Steelers than he did with the Jets. And I thought a lot about this, and I think my opinion that's going to stick is that did the Wizards hurt Michael Jordan's legacy? Did Phoenix, Cleveland, Celtics hurt Shaq's? It's not about the ending. Marlon Brando is considered the greatest actor of all time. YouTube him sometime. Fascinating interview. He had 3 or 4 atrocious movies. Nobody cares. We judge you in your prime. We judge you at the pinnacle, not the turbulence and the bumpy ending. Not every Beatles song was great, and we don't talk about the ones that missed. We've never spent a second talking about Tom Cruise in The Mummy. We don't do that. Aaron's prime was 13 years, 4 MVPs and a Super Bowl trophy, and he played great. It puts him top 12 all time. Certainly one of the prettiest passers I've ever seen, up there with Dan Marino, maybe number 1 or number 2. He's a little prickly and independent as a personality. That's okay. Everybody's different. He is one of the most gifted throwers of the football of all time. And he is in a top 12 of all time. I actually prefer him over Brett Favre. Brett Favre is a gunslinger. I don't think he ages well over time. Gunslingers don't work anymore. They become Jameis Winston. And he's better than Jameis Winston, but Aaron could have played 30 years ago, and Aaron in his prime was great now. Favre was really good, being hard to coach, not necessarily reading coverages, and just using his talent. I don't think that ages as well today. I think football is much smarter today than it was years ago. So I think much like being in the mob, once you're great, you're a made man. Now, like the mob, it doesn't always end well. But I think we have to be fair with Aaron Rodgers. If he goes 7-9 in Pittsburgh, he gets hurt in week 13 or doesn't play particularly well, nobody cares. Go look at Johnny Unitas's last team. Go look at Michael Jordan and the Wizards, Akeem, Patrick Ewing, Shaq. It doesn't matter. Now, Brady, and this is rare, left and was great in Tampa. That sort of adds to Brady's legend. But the truth was, it really only, if you really look at what Tampa did for Brady, it separated him in the, was it Brady or Belichick in New England argument? Clearly, it was more Brady than Belichick. He won the divorce. He won the argument. But he still would have been the all-time greatest quarterback because all of his hardware. So I don't, Aaron had an interception yesterday. I don't make anything of that. And I'm not going to make a lot out of 6-11 or 7-10. Here's Aaron.
It's good to get it out of the way. Anybody that's watched me practice over the years, you like to try certain throws at certain times. And anybody that's watched me in the games knows I've been pretty stellar taking care of the football over the years. It's going to be a good challenge for me throwing this heat every single day. I look forward to it, but I'm going to throw some picks. But I'm going to throw some touchdowns, too.
Yeah. I don't think if you look at actors, politicians, we're like Bernie Sanders in his prime, in Bernie Sanders today, you get to be 75 as a politician. I don't know how judgmental I can get. Same with quarterbacks. Once you get into your 40s, I'm not holding it against you. That doesn't mean Matt Stafford wins a Super Bowl this year. It can't elevate his legacy. It doesn't mean if Brady's good in Tampa, it can't mean he really definitively won the divorce with Belichick. Yes, there can be more upside, but it's Marlon Brando, it's the Beatles, it's Tom Cruise. In their prime, best. So, there's been a story this week, J-Mac, and it is very much a connect-the-dot story. Jimmy Sexton, Nick Saban, Jimmy Haslam, and I have said I think Saban will not go to college, but when Greg McElroy and Lane Kiffin, who know him very, very, very well, said there's a lot of talk about him coming back to coaching, I don't think it's college. I discussed it this week. Colleges now, the NIL is so expensive, you have to go to your boosters to get $15 to $18 million to pay the players. You're not going to buy out your coach at another $70 million and then pay $75 million to get Saban. Like, it's just the NIL actually helps coaches get 2 or 3 more years. You're raising so much money to pay the players. You're not buying out staffs at $70 million too and then paying $70 million for the next coach. He's not going to college. Would he take a call and consider the NFL? That's all I've said. Yes. And Saban was on Fox News and could have given an absolutely definitive answer. Instead, he said this.
There is no opportunity that I know of right now that would enhance me to go back to coaching.
Right now. I'm not hungry right now. I'm not tired right now, but I'm going to eat and sleep later. Right? Yes and no are definitive answers. Absolutely or never are definitive answers. The specificity with that answer was intentional. It was, if you kind of, right now, you ever getting divorced? Right now, I'm happy with my current wife. That's not the answer you want to hear. It's never, I'm wildly in love. Right now, it's leaving the door open. And by the way, I can bring up an old Nick Saban press conference from Miami. I could do that. So why don't we do that? Here it is.
Well, then I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. What? I shouldn't even have to comment on this. I think I've said this over and over and over again.
There's also not one opening now. Arch Manning's still a college player now. So I'm just saying, I thought it was very intentional. There's not a place I'm going to leave for right now. And I don't even think this is an argument. Like that's very open. That's very gray. And he may not take the job. I'm not saying definitively he's going to. I'm saying if Cleveland ends up with the number 1 pick, if the Saints end up with the number 1 pick and take Arch Manning, he's coached in Louisiana, he's coached in Ohio. He's taking the call. He may go to Miss Terry, discuss it for a couple of days, but I know what he kind of makes at ESPN. He's going to make about 30% more or more than that coaching college, pro football. He'll take the call. I don't think he's going to college. So, I mean, yes, no, absolutely never. Those are definitive. I'm not tired right now. Means you will probably eventually sleep. Right? Like this isn't a reach by me. I thought that was a very intentional answer. And that's okay. Broadcasters have a right to leave anytime they want. Much easier to leave broadcasting jobs. Bill Parcells did that multiple times. Nobody's going to hold it against you. I think Dick Vermeil may have or may have not let. Nobody's holding it against you. You leave a college, you leave a job. But I'm just saying, and there's going to be jobs, not just random jobs open. Arch Manning going to a place Nick has coached. The Dallas Cowboys could be open. There are years. Last year there was one great job opening, and Harbaugh took it. Justin Herbert, L.A. market, decent roster. That was a great job opening. Matt LaFleur to Green Bay. That's one of the best job openings ever. Aaron Rodgers, well-run organization. By the way, when McCarthy took the Cowboys, Dak Prescott closer to his prime, that wasn't a bad job opening. A lot of them are rebuilds. He's not going to a total rebuild. But if he's going to be watching all these college quarterbacks, okay, you tell me he watched that Clemson kid, or he watches Arch Manning, or he watches Drew Aller, and all of a sudden the Saints or Cleveland can get those guys, he's absolutely taking the call, and he's absolutely considering it.
Yeah, Colin, this lines up perfectly with what you like to say. When you get new information, sometimes you change your mind, right? On athletes, on coaches, and openings, I think is the same thing. Nick Saban says he's happy where he's doing right now. And then if, Arch Manning lines up to the Jets or the Browns or whatever happens, sure, I'm sure he's going to take the call. Now, the real interesting one is, what goes on in Dallas? Is that someone Jerry Jones would want to hire? Do you want Saban? Do you want Deion Sanders, who I personally think Colorado takes a big step back this year? I'm sure Joel Klatt knows more. Go ahead.
So it's interesting. Belichick had no interest going west. If you looked at who he interviewed for jobs, it was mostly, he's got a place in like Jupiter, Florida, Nantucket. Bill didn't want to be out west. Tom Brady, frankly, had told people, he went to Tampa. He considered Miami. Tom didn't really want to go west at the time with Giselle.
He had the kids, right? He wanted to be near his
He didn't
kids.
want to go west. So my take is Texas for Saban. I mean, he and his wife, Miss Terry, they call her, they flew to Austin, Texas, or she did, remember he lost to Auburn, and there was a lot of heat on Saban, and it was like, you guys have Saban, everybody loses in big rivalries. Michigan, 20-point dog, just beat Ohio State. Slow down. But it kind of ticked Saban off. He ended up getting a great deal from Alabama to go back. He got somebody to pay off his house. Right. He got a car dealership. He was so ticked off by that. But Texas, Saints feel like, he's got his lake house. I could see that very much with him. Quick private jet from Dallas to his lake house in Georgia or New Orleans. That just feels like those fit. First of all, he's getting a call. Takes it, I don't know.